are living a very busy life. You do not have time to sit down and write a full-length novel. You cannot commit that much energy and effort to crafting a 50,000 word novel or a 100,000 word novel. So what do you do with your desires to tell stories? What do you do with all the ideas and all the characters and all the things running around loose in your mind? You want to write, but you don't have the time. As I said, between working and raising a family and going to school and trying to do all the things necessary in order to live the life that you want, you just don't have time to write a novel. Well, have you considered writing short stories? They don't take up as much time, and they do give you the satisfaction of creating a world in which your characters do and say the things that you want them to express. I don't know if you are aware of this, but on Amazon's platform, short reads are very popular. They can range from 15-minute reads to 30-minute reads to 1 hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours or more. And the required number of pages can range anywhere from 1 to 11 pages to 12 to 20. You can break it up according to the hourly rate of reading. And as I said, this platform is extremely popular on Amazon. And the categories that readers flock to in this particular genre are romance, erotic romance, suspense, thrillers, mysteries. You can try your hand at any of those. And if you're creative enough, why not make your own niche? Why not branch out and experiment? So, for those of you, as I said, who have limited time and need to generate additional income, consider writing short stories. Find your sweet spot as far as word count and page count, and then focus on that. My first question to you, now that you have decided you want to write a short story, is do you know what it takes to write the perfect short story? Well, if not, then come with me and let's look at Writer's Digest. And there are 5 tips for crafting the perfect short story. This online article was written by award-winning author Louise Marburg. She shares the tips for crafting the perfect story, and I hope these tips will help you in your endeavor. Louise's first piece of advice is consider your plot. If you're in the mood to write about a year-long sea voyage, you're going to need more than 7,000 words. Most of my stories take place in the span of a day to a week. Stories are more about concept. For instance, marital discourse or thwarted desires, to name 2 out of millions. And these stories are driven by characters. So you want to keep it straightforward on the plot level, deep on the concept level, and have only as many characters as necessary. If your story is about a woman traveling alone who meets a man on a train, we likely do not need to know about her sister, her brother, her best friend, not unless these peripheral characters are important and necessary. Tip number 2, pick action over exposition. There is very little room for exposition or narration in storytelling. So show rather than tell. Keep it short and sweet. We can find out a lot about a character simply by the things they do. It's okay for you to tell us a little bit, but remember, action is what drives the story. Exposition does not. You will want to keep your dialogue precise. No extra words, no repetition, no repeating yourself. You are limited in the word count that you have, so use it wisely. Pick and choose carefully. You can have one character inquire about the health of another character. The first character could say, "How are you today?" The second character could respond verbally, or they could respond through action, maybe shrugging their shoulders or making a face, a distasteful face, something that will express through physical action how they are feeling. Remember, you are writing with a limited word count, and you want to make sure every word has meaning, every word has purpose, and every word will lead to the ending of your story in a clear, concise way. The fourth thing to consider when writing a short story is be spare with description. Though you may want to describe something in detail, you don't have the space, nor do you have the time. Identify one or two details that are germane to the character or locale. If a character has an unusual set of green eyes, just mention that feature and the reader can imagine the rest. If an old house smells like mothballs, we get the picture right away. You don't have to elaborate. Less is more. The last thing to consider when writing or crafting your short story is to prioritize characterization. You can tell the reader that a character is nasty, or better yet, you can make them behave or speak in a nasty way. Similarly, internal dialogue tells the reader a lot, as does a physical feature like, for instance, the character has body odor. Show the reader only what's most important about a character and trust them to read between the lines. Louise Marlborough's 5 tips for writing, crafting the perfect short story is only a beginner, a starter kit for those of you out there who want to write short stories. Definitely do your homework, do your research, find other books that talk about writing short stories and what makes an effective short story that delivers the punch at the end. For me, writing short stories are a way to generate income, additional income. I will write a short story that is maybe 10, 12, 15 pages long, and I will post it on Amazon and some of the other platforms for 99 cents. This is just a way to get my writing out there, to introduce people to my work, and as I said, to hopefully generate more income. I also like using short stories because I may have an idea that I want to express in a short story, but it's not long enough, or the concept is not long enough for a full-length novel. I also have lots and lots of stories running around in my head, and I'd like to get as many of them out as possible. So I use short stories as a vehicle to get these stories out, to get these ideas out, to clear my mind so that new thoughts and ideas can come in. I truly love writing short stories, but as I said, there is a definite talent and skill to doing this. Everyone cannot write a short story. Everyone does not want to write a short story. But for those of you who find this venue useful and find this way of writing something that you think you can excel at, definitely look into the platform. And as I said, there are different time periods when you write these short stories. You can have the 15-minute read, you can have the 30-minute read, you can have an hour read. And what I find is some people don't have a lot of time dedicated to reading, but they do have 15 minutes, let's say a 15-minute break at lunch, or let's say they're waiting for their train or their transportation. These reads will come in handy for them.